I was going back and forth for a while on if I wanted to play Japan in Vic 3 MP because it is a rough start, since it takes so long to modernize and actually play the game. But I believe that I could push through the boring part and create a strong Japanese empire in Asia. There was a large roster for this game with 30 players at the start, so I figured with so many people there'd be a lot of scheming and interesting diplomacy that I could be a part of.
Like that's ever gonna happen.
Also, we used a balance mod called HMPS for this campaign, so keep that in mind as you watch. This isn't vanilla. As you know, as Japan, your first 30 years are the roughest part of the game, passing laws and chipping away at landowner power while hoping none of the great powers decide they want to mess with you. So your main entertainment is just going to be watching other people fight.
Pepper, why'd you declare me your
Hit him with the doohickey.
Me and you are enemies.
Hit him with the papistry.
Why are we enemies? It's over Persia. We didn't even demand war reps from you or anything. You literally he stays your puppet after Gracchus takes this stuff.
Yeah,
anyway.
I don't want Tabriz taken from him.
Well, you know. To the doohickey.
Okay, Braun. I will give up the war if I get Eastern Thrace.
If you get Eastern Thrace?
I mean, it's basically the same thing. It is.
Huh?
There's a million pops for a million pops.
What is that doing pops?
A soul for a soul.
If the Russians are getting beaten by the sick man of Europe, what does that make them?
Yeah, we're just have a little deal.
I don't.
I want Ryan to have a game, and I want Zoomer to have it.
But you don't want me to have a game by taking away 1 million.
Well, you're Persia. You don't matter anyway. Moving on.
Siam's still an option.
You know what, Persia? You matter.
Thank you, Zuma.
I'm not taking any
that
Zoomer did. Okay, fuck you then. You know, fuck you, die.
No, sorry.
Also, give it up to Spain for speedrunning the first civil war of the campaign. It's always who you most expect. Poor Persia couldn't depend on his Russian allies, so he had to spit out a bunch of land. Nothing that interesting happened internationally for the first few sessions. The only dopamine I could get was from passing new laws. Luckily, the Japanese people were organizing for an end to serfdom very early, but to pass that law, I would make some powerful people in the country very unhappy. I had another plan to end serfdom. I would provoke the tenant farmer movement by angering the intelligentsia and inspire a revolution that would trigger an event to make the landowners get rid of serfdom themselves. However, the rural folk changed their minds during the revolt and decided they were okay with serfdom. I needed the farmers to get angry, so I thought maybe a change in leadership would get them mad, but this guy was even more chill with the government, so I just gave up on this strat. I also learned to be careful with the tax edict, because within 4 years, I was literally taxing people to death in Japan. I'm just trying to bring Japan into the 19th century, and these peasants are really holding me back.
Right here. All your needs will be met.
I'm hungry!
In a minute!
Anyways, despite those setbacks, I have good luck with my laws and make great progress in my first 15 years. I really don't envy the Qing player right now. While I'm here playing my chill cookie clicker game, he's in a fight for his life against the Taiping Rebellion. Democracy is coming to Japan to make way for the Honorable Restoration Journal entry. The landowners aren't happy with it and want to coup me, but it's not a problem at all to just kick them out of the government. Also, I made a deal with Thomas, who's playing the Netherlands, to take Hawaii for me, and I'd pay him for it. Since it's only 1850, he got it before the US had the power to start saying no. 3 years later, China's civil war has only gotten worse. I'm almost feeling bad for the player, but the keyword is almost, because this is still really great to watch. However, all good shows have to come to an end, with Qing pulling it back in the 11th hour and destroying the Heavenly Kingdom. After the 1854 election, the Honorable Restoration has activated, and since I have such a big surplus, I really should be spending more money on the economy. It's not like I have anything else to spend.
Yeah, I'm pretty ssure actually that I can just stop building entirely and my private consumption.
Look, I will get you your money. Look, I'm just.
You not paid him yet?
I paid
Yes,
him half of it. Half of it.
Don't criticize my spending in this game. There are people here who have reached depths I didn't know were possible. Somehow Bo formed Germany without Alsace, but of course he's still gonna go for it. Swimmy built a level 4 fort in the state, so you'd think Bo would be struggling a lot here, but things got a little bit spicier in this play.
U.S.
Jake,
joined with
pause the game, Swimmy. Get Jake in.
Oh, base. Base.
The reason why they're doing this, Jake, for reference, is because Swimmy sniped Liberia off the US, and he's in Venezuela as well.
Despite having the defensive advantage economically, France is screwed. The problem with Swimonomics is that you need to constantly outrun your debt ceiling while deficit spending to avoid defaulting, but when you need to pay for something really expensive like a military for war, you're put in a tough spot. Also, Sardinia's game plan can only be described like... Why would you start a war in Italy when France is fighting Germany? You're just begging Austria to smack you down, which is exactly what happened. Back in Japan, not much changed. I tried to go from wealth voting to censored suffrage, and that just caused the reactionary Avengers to rally against me. The will of the people didn't matter against all the money against them, so the law was dead in the water. But in 1869, finally, the honorable restoration was finished, and with that done, I felt it was time to get ready to look outward to finally do something in the game. But I wasn't gonna be the only one making moves.
It's like insane. I think they've got I've just taxed them to hell, and they've got now a debt of 70 million.
Annexing the rock.
They can't pay it back.
Are you like annexing them and then releasing them again, so you don't get all the good debt will just be gone?
No, I'm directly gonna own them because of years of mismanagement.
Despite how much more powerful Jake would be from this, the international response was a resounding... I'm sure this will have no long-term ramifications for the rest of the game. So, since the Spanish player was asleep at the wheel, I was able to start taking land from these tribes in the Philippines with no problem. I was sensing a lot of weakness from Madrid, so I figured I'd be able to take the Philippines easily later. I mean, he literally let me take half of the southern island, so I figured I was in for an easy war.
Oh, you have no fleet, Spain. What are you doing?
Neither does he. What?
Yes, 20.
What the fuck is this, like, toy boat in the bathtub ass war?
Wow, you're coming in this, Portugal? Okay.
I still think you're good, college.
Yeah, Portugal.
Look out for his 13 brigades of ships.
Unironically, how does like Japan win this? They can't land with 20 like brigades, right?
I'm already in the Philippines.
Look at Southern
Philippines. I'm already there.
Oh,
just walks in.
Bond fucked up very badly. By
Yeah,
I did not notice that. I would not have let him get that.
But nothing can ever be easy.
Say what?
Spain, I can take, but the US, no chance. In hindsight, I should have talked to him before declaring to make sure this didn't happen, but I just wanted to have some content, man. Fortunately, just because you're at war doesn't mean you can't talk to the other side. Once I offered Hawaii to the US player, he was all good to leave me alone and Spain to its fate. Spain was doing everything it could to push me out of the Philippines, and I was hoping that with my fleet raiding his convoys going there, he'd run out of supplies and money and be forced out of the island. Portugal also joined this war and kept trying to annoy me with naval invasions. And having to deal with Vicky 3 Navy will cost you valuable brain cells. Yeah, sure, it totally makes sense that I can destroy the Portuguese invasion fleet and they can just rebuild that fleet and have it ready to invade me again in a month. Oh, you're raiding almost a third of the convoys that go over to the Philippines? Yeah, the Spanish army's just gonna keep attacking like nothing's going wrong. You may wonder, how is Spain even affording this army, especially when they have such a weaker economy than me? Well, it's actually simple. They aren't. He's driving his country to financial ruin to hold a colony he didn't even invest in that much. Even if I lost my foothold in the Philippines, I could just sit back and wait for him to default in a few months, so time was literally on my side. But then Spain's debt mysteriously disappeared, and while the world is wondering where the money went, here's Ching patting his belly with $13 million worth of IOUs inside. The best part is that didn't even turn the war around for Spain. He's still in economic freefall. I mean, I'm not doing great either, but he's already £3 million of debt 3 months after the Qing took his 13 million. Even though I was completely pushed out of the Philippines, I was still comfortable to wait him out.
I mean, if Bongholis was smart, he would demobilize his army, you know?
30% turmoil across most of the country. Oh my god, the standard of living, Jesus.
Look, ticking time bomb, College. We can win this one and then you can bankroll me.
Whatever.
Whatever. I'm not.
Yeah! Let's fucking go! Well, the Japanese people are having the time of their lives right now. The Germans are revolting against their government. The people wanted universal suffrage, and despite the king's unpopularity, the rebels still didn't have enough juice to trigger a full civil war. But then that king was killed. His heir wasn't even born yet, but somehow is a fascist. He doesn't even know what his own race is, yet he is confident that it's better than everyone else's. And well, when the king is a literal fetus, it's very hard to defend the legitimacy of the current government, so here comes the civil war. Spain couldn't stand Europe paying attention to another civil war, so he had to remind everyone that the Spanish are the champions at this. But real talk, I don't know what's the plan here in Spain. Dude's been making all the wrong choices.
Guys, I can't do this!
Hey, Bear.
Soon, I finish the Komai Restoration journal entry and get my claims on Korea. And it's about time I spread my empire to the mainland. But I do need to spend a lot of time increasing my military strength and economy because I don't want to have another war like I did with the Spanish.
Jake, was that real?
So that's not a fake revolt. Okie dokie then.
Jake?
Jake?
Alright, pounce on the empire, everybody! Grab what you can!
Honestly, United States, duck transfer on Canada now.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, get him.
It is actually worth it.
Steal him right now.
Govmok.
What?
Are you happy in the British Empire?
I'm quite happy.
Okay, perfect. So debate settled.
I give him
You will stay with
infinite money.
Yeah.
Well, why do you care about his opinion? Just steal him.
Yeah.
Because
his opinion is irrelevant.
No,
You should make them
US is
unhappy.
nice.
College, you say another thing.
There was a civil war in the UK and nobody was gonna take advantage of it. If you haven't picked up on it yet, this lobby has very sleepy great powers. We've had 2 actual player wars in 55 years, not counting the Germany versus France one because that one has to happen. To be fair, I think part of the reason is that war is done so badly in Vic 3 that people don't want to do it, but I still feel like players should try. Also, for the past year, the Great Powers were debating who should get the Congo, and the end result angered everyone.
Oh, yes!
Oh no, he doesn't deserve it.
The largest that I
don't do that, please. Because someone needs to build up the rubber.
Shut up, Thomas. All right.
You didn't even have an interest. This is just you literally didn't even have an interest in the region, and yet somehow you get the Congo.
Because it got voted on, you retard.
Thomas, there was a fucking vote, and he won.
I voted for Mexico, and I think
it was a democratic.
Vote was
Thomas, you have my vote, as in like we weren't gonna like. I voted for nobody to get it. I tried to give you it, but it was democratic.
All I'm saying is I didn't get a vote, and therefore I do not respect
but you're not
the
a great
voting
power.
process.
You literally don't have voting
Exactly.
rights.
Exactly, but that doesn't mean
That's
that,
like having
just
wealth
because
voting.
you deny me voting rights doesn't mean that I need to respect your election.
You lost the election. Step down.
Oh yeah, how many of those ballots were mail-in, huh? But sadly, nobody would be angry enough about the vote to do anything because that would mean something would happen in the world. I was about ready to move in on Korea. The plan was to fully annex the country and release it as a puppet. The Korea player was fine with it, Russia was fine with it, and the UK was fine with it. So all I had to do was beat China in a war for it. The Chinese military was looking really bad, so I thought I was in for a stomp.
Is this college trying to kill another player?
I've made an agreement. The Japanese are going to occupy Korea and set up a new state.
Like we might have to go take care of something, Jake.
Well, I haven't done anything. All right, I've merely.
Jake, with the Anglo-German naval agreement, I'm ready to help you out.
I've got some concerns about the Philippine people.
Concerning.
I think they're being oppressed.
I can understand.
I would like to see an independent Philippines.
What about under German supervision, Jake?
I don't get why they were like this. I'm the only person to play like this is an MP game, and the world jumps on me for it.
Did I just catch you wanting to be shit?
Anyways, time to go into China. My tech was so superior that I can win these naval invasion battles against double the amount of units. The plan was pretty simple. I'd take Beijing and then I could just sit there and wait for the war exhaustion to tick down and I get Korea and war reps. I won't lie, I was a bit scared when I saw over 2,700 battalions of conscripts. And worst of all, this war system is unsurprisingly pretty broken, because despite me occupying Qing's capital, I can't make their war support tick below 0. If you don't know, Korea is a subject of Qing, so I can't separate piece them out by taking their war goals. But it used to be if you occupy their suzerain's capital, then you don't need to occupy those war goals. So my whole plan? Thrown in the trash. Still, despite me being heavily outnumbered, we were easily handling the Chinese armies. Well, until they were somehow able to command 500,000 men in a single battle. I was clowned for not expecting this, by the way. To make it worse, while I'm fully committed into this fight, Jake threatens war against me for investment rights. He told me earlier that allowing foreign investment would be bad for the country, so I never allowed it, and now here he is doing it when I can't fight back because, God, someone actually wanted to have fun in this game.
Did I just catch you having fun?
So, not only has Jake cost me years of recognition progress, this whole time he's been bankrolling China, allowing them to mobilize all those brigades without running a deficit. Despite him saying earlier that he was fine with me going for this war. My armies in China are running out of manpower, while China is able to throw 600,000 man armies at me. I'm basically forced to withdraw from Beijing. For now, I was just gonna recover manpower and upgrade the trench infantry, so hopefully my army would be better equipped to face their numbers. But as I was recovering, I noticed China had demobilized most of his armies, so I rushed in to invade Korea. I really love this war system where you can't change what you want in the middle of it. I can't force Qing to accept me getting Korea because I added war reps, even though I don't want them anymore. I can't even do something like occupy Taiwan to get their war support ticking because China can defend the island from their mainland, which just makes so much sense. Despite my troops being professionally trained trench infantry, peasants with matchlocks are able to wear me down and push my army out of Korea. And you can imagine I was very upset. But the Qing had a peace offering to end this war. I give up with a white peace and he'll give me 20 million pounds. Now this was a really hard decision for me. I had two options that I don't like, but I had to pick something. There was time for me to think about it in between sessions, but then I remembered some very wise words.
Would you like to hear my favorite passage from Shakespeare? Take the fucking money.
Only now, in 1901, people are finally realizing that China being stable isn't good for everyone, and Jake is running away with the game after taking India. Swimmy finally wakes up and tries to fracture China, but that would mean something happening in the game, so Jake couldn't allow that. At least I finally got recognized though, but as for that Jake and Swimmy war, well, it went as you'd expect. The world was fed up with Jake, and soon we were going to organize to take this monster down. Within 10 years of him getting investment rights in me, he already owned 1/3 of my GDP, and I couldn't let that stand. Golden started the war with the goal to liberate Bengal since that was the crown jewel of Jake's economy, and many other nations joined for other reasons. The gang squad was Scandinavia, Russia, Germany, France, Austria-Hungary, and I versus the UK with its dominions, the US, and China.
Yeah, no, Golden, this is it. This is the best. He has more ships than you, Golden.
I'm going to the Bay of Biscay. I don't care. The Scandinavians will fight, and they'll fucking die if they need to.
He's way more stats than
You're gonna fucking lose that.
No, he's not. You're fucking coping. He's literally gonna win. I'm the Navy guy.
Oh, he left. He's
running away. Look at that amazing
Amazing
Vicky 3 game systems.
Oh my god.
Golden, is this when I launched the naval invasion?
You got more! You're winning! You're gonna win! I tried to invade Australia, but anywhere the British army went, I couldn't fight. That didn't mean Australia was untouchable, because since they're an island nation, I can just have my fleet raid any convoys going towards here, and cut them off from the British market. I love how you can see when I started raiding on his standard of living graph.
Australian defaults?
Wait, they are?
I can send a force down to, like, destroy his game.
Tora, guys.
We should end now.
What do you mean? We got another 20 minutes.
Yeah, come on, Jake.
My GDP. Look at it. It went up.
No. Yeah, this is the same shit you tried to pull on fucking Gragas. You
It went up. Look. It went up.
Yeah, it's going up. It's going up.
Look, I'm doing. Are you guys just saying? I'm doing so well. You know, I've almost doubled my GDP since this war started.
Oh wow! You're so good at this game. Man, look at this magic trick.
Just give me
Today, I will cut Australia's GDP in half.
Yeah, well done.
Japanese magic trick.
Wild development.
There it is. Another win for Scandinavia.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The screams in the streets of London are why die for Bengal.
Win the battle up there, but we're gonna try.
Unfortunately, this was too much happening for the game to handle, so we had a massive desync. And because I've been trained by muscle memory to click the button that says continue without players, I clicked continue in single player without realizing it. Jake was about to surrender anyways. This was how his country was looking at the time. He had no chance of winning. We didn't rehost since it was the end of the game, so I'll just show you. This is the world after the peace deal was enforced. China had been shattered, and the UK lost a massive chunk of its GDP with the loss of Bengal, Australia, and other land. Of course, Japan regained ownership of a lot of its I just want to play a game where things work and they make sense. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed this though. Likes give me dopamine, and this game put me in a big deficit. Shout out to my Patreons for funding my descent into madness, and I'll see you again soon.